Hello everyone, I'm Nakwe.
And I'm Peter.
And
We
are
the
Birds
of
Play. In this video, we're going to be celebrating one of the staples of Final Fantasy by ranking the top 5 sexy Cid characters from the series.
As two heterosexual white males, we feel like we are uniquely qualified to answer which old white dude makes the people weak in the knees.
So strap in for a sexual exploration of the only true fantasy daddies of the sky. Who wouldn't want to take a ride in their airship, am I right?
I sure am curious about riding one. It's definitely something I haven't experienced before. Incidentally, an airship is a great example of a phallic symbol, and I'm sure we'll find many more examples of those.
Totally. Anyway, if you end up liking the video, and who wouldn't, it's about sexy Cids,
Please consider subscribing to the channel to become a part of our sexy avian-themed Final Fantasy family.
But without further ado,
Let's get confused.
Sexy Cid number 5. Cid Reigns from Final Fantasy XIII. For some, this generic pretty boy might be the only Cid to truly be considered sexy. After all, he's the only one who meets the sort of standard criteria for beauty, especially in East Asia. However, the only reason we're even mentioning this guy is to establish a baseline, and so that you don't watch this entire video thinking, I wonder when Cid Reigns is going to show up, because of that I say grow up. As someone who isn't blessed with an abundance of chest hair myself, let me tell you, I like a man with some chest hair, meaning a man who carries his scars proudly. Cid Reigns might be damaged on the inside, but the beast within is too well hidden, too well concealed. But once he lets it out, rawr, I wouldn't mind being his focus.
Sexy Cid number 4. Cid from Final Fantasy X.
Yar, matey. Here's a man in uniform who has his own ship, a crew that would follow him to the grave, and a kick-ass head tattoo. Cid is the perfect example of a hard-shell daddy with a soft, creamy center. His tough, leathery exterior betrayed by his compassionate demeanor, not to mention the word love tattooed on the side of his shiny, masculine head. Now there's a man who can do it all. This captain could spend his nights serenading you with Albed, the language of love, but he won't, because he's too busy being a natural-born leader, fighting against the man, using the power of science and machines in his crusade against organized religion. Mujawi, Cid. Mujawi.
Sexy Cid number 3. Cid Kramer from Final Fantasy VIII. Many might initially overlook Cid Kramer's inherent sexiness, but that's because they forget that he's sexy in a certain context. As an educator, Cid is an authority figure, and authority can be very sexy. Hey, I get what you're saying. Cid Kramer definitely isn't the only Cid in a position of authority, and that's totally true. However, he isn't just an authority figure, but rather an authority figure to a bunch of young people, many of whom still haven't developed the proper self-awareness to resist the allure of authority. And since there doesn't seem to be an overabundance of other prospective male role models at Balam Garden, aside from perhaps Norg with his huge, sexy hands and phallic-looking fingers, the context in which Cid is sexy becomes even more pronounced, he being the only mature male eye candy that isn't kept locked in the basement. Cid practically winning sexiest man on campus by default. Plant your seeds, Cid. Plant your seeds in me.
Sexy Cid number 2. Cid Highwind from Final Fantasy VII. Hey, did your dad ever yell at you? Mine sure did. Did your dad ever blow smoke in your face and berate you for not being good enough? Mine sure did. If you're into that shit, then have I got the man for you. His name is Cid Highwind, and he first appeared in a little-known gem named Final Fantasy VII. This cigarette-smelling 32-year-old has got a chip on his shoulder, and it's up to you to help him get over it. Cid carries a spear into battle, which you'd be forgiven for mistaking as a phallic symbol, meant to compensate for something he's lacking. But you'd be wrong. because Cid leaves the job of a phallic symbol to his mighty, girthy rocket ship, standing proud and erect at the outskirts of Rocket Town. Its considerable base surrounded by dense bushes and trees that could surely use a trim, and its shaft tilted at a slight angle towards the infinite sky. This certainly is one rocket ship I'd like to ride and see what all the fuss is about.
Honorable mentions: Cid del Norte Marquis from Final Fantasy VI. The man is a walking phallic symbol, dressed from head to toe like the most luxurious condom a fantasy world could ever conjure up. It's even pixelated for your pleasure. As a modest sprite, Final Fantasy VI's Cid might leave a lot to the imagination, but that's kind of the point. There's nothing as sexy as what you can imagine. And just imagine taking care of him when he gets sick, feeding him an assortment of raw fish to nurse him back to health. It's a romance novel that practically writes itself, putting you in the role of caretaker, his life in your hands. You can save him.
Sexy Cid number 1. Cid Garland from Final Fantasy XIV.
Do you like men who are good with their hands? What about men who run their own successful engineering company? What about a guy that takes care of his body, stays in shape, even when the world around him seems to be on the brink of collapse? Then look no further, because Cid Forehead G-Spot Garland is all you'll ever need. His strong, weathered hands, yet surprisingly gentle, will make sure you feel safe, protected, and satisfied. On the topic of satisfaction, Cid is no stranger to gadgets and toys. You can be sure he has an ace or two up his sleeves when it comes to using them. This silver fox has had quite the life, defecting from his homeland to stay true to his principles, surviving a literal moon to the face. Just imagine what else he could take full force to the face. What a man. What a Cid.
That sure was something. If you're still here, and I see no reason why you wouldn't be, then you've either already subscribed or unsubscribed. I hope it's the first one.
But don't be shy. Tell us which Cid you think is the most sexy and why. Until next time. Bird sounds. Bird sounds. Caw-caw!